All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Happy Friday. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Hope you're having an amazing morning today. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I am a little sleepy, but other than that, I'm doing well, man. I've got my son to
All right, good morning,
myself.
everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Happy
So
Friday.
he woke me up. Hold on. I apologize. I had YouTube screaming in my ear.
Nah, I think that was me.
So it was you on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't have it muted. Sorry. But it's so I'm a little sleepy this morning, but so is our gappers list. I seem to fit in.
Yeah, you're fitting right into place. Good morning on YouTube. I see some of you guys saying it's Friday the 13th, so we'll definitely be careful with that as well. Um, all right, guys. So let's get into it. We had such an amazing watch list yesterday. Just a lot of great movers. KR, BHGE. These two were just on fire yesterday. So let's start with KR and how that traded. Let's get into our 5-minute and 1-minute candles. Those are the two time frames that I use. A lot of the other traders are using the 2-minute opposed to the 1. And some traders are switching to the harmonious chart, which we talked about a bit yesterday in our lifetime webinar. So if you did not catch the lifetime webinar yesterday, definitely check it out. Myself and Robert were there answering questions, some great questions that came up as well. So here we have KR. So KR, it was very active in the morning. Actually, this thing had gapped. Was it down or up? I don't remember. It's pretty much flat. It was active, but anyway, it was pretty much flat. It wasn't really gapping up or down the way it opened up. But either way, it had created a nice range though yesterday. So here we go to the 5-minute. At the open, it really didn't do much. It was a little just indecision kind of situation here between these three candles, right? So you sold off, came back up above VWAP, but then here, this is the candle that made it really interesting. This one right here. So here, you don't know yet what's going to happen. You have a resistance area right around this area right here, so you got to be aware of that. And you also have your a level here that we have from the pre-market. So once it came back up and we saw this pullback to VWAP, this is where a lot of traders took this exact same trade. Andrew did not take this exact same trade, but he did call it for a long. He said here it looks like a pretty interesting for a long. He didn't take the trade. I took the trade in here, which a lot of you guys did. Some of you guys waited for more of a consolidation, took it around this area as well, which is perfectly fine. And you can see how beautiful this thing turned out. Started squeezing really hard above these moving averages, kind of following the 9 and went all the way up to 26, almost 75, 26.70. So again, just a beautiful trade here. 5-minute looks also very clean. A beautiful setup here, heading higher and higher highs, higher lows on a nice turn of events here. And then finally, it kind of topped out a little bit on 26.75. It came back down towards the moving averages, retested it, and as we all know, this was just a huge drop. I mean, this was nasty. Came out of nowhere, guys. I don't think we saw any news on it, Norm, right? We were checking it, so it must have been some institution dropping their shares because we quickly went to
they reported earnings yesterday morning, and that was right in the middle of their conference call.
Okay, so that's what it was. So yeah, we knew about the earnings in the morning, but we didn't see any. So I guess something in the call somebody did not like, and you had this huge drop. So nice drop there. You can see continuation. It did recover a bit though. Came right back up towards the area that it was trading at the open, so it did recover. But again, this was a very nasty drop that came out of nowhere. I was glad to see a lot of the recaps from the members. A lot of people were out already in this area, which is a good way to get out because you can see this tested it once, comes back up, tested it one more time, and usually that's somewhat of a double top. Could be a good indication that the move is done. So hopefully you guys did not get caught on this nastiness. BHGE, this one here. Actually, good morning, Brian. Brian is on with us very early this morning. Nice.
It's good afternoon for Brian.
Oh, beautiful
on the other
thing.
side of that.
Beautiful thing. So BHGE here sold off at the open, then comes back to reclaim the VWAP. Once it gets above all these moving averages, just becoming a really nice for a long. Just look at the 1 minute how clean this is, right? So not quite an engulfing pattern here, but you can see on this sell-off, buyers reclaim their position here, gets up to VWAP, and we talk about this so much in here in this morning show, right? It goes above, punches through the VWAP, comes back down to retest this moving averages that it just went through, and then becomes a beautiful long. So if you missed out this opportunity, wait for it to retest the support levels, and you can see how nice this thing becomes a beautiful long if you're patient. And again, look at this 5 minutes, just became an amazing trade towards the long side. AVYA, this one was very choppy, guys. Didn't really move much, so nothing exciting with this one yesterday. It had a great pre-market activity. It has some volume here, but at the open, just really didn't do much. You can see this on here. It's not moving a lot neither. This was 1148. This was 1126. So again, not a lot of movement or in volume neither. Look at the volume down here. It's just very light on the volume. TLRD was this was very choppy as well, guys. I mean, on the 5-minute, Andrew called out a beautiful trade here. Yeah, right around here. He said, you know, if it comes back down, it could be a 520, 525. It could be a good entry for a long. So again, another example where it punches through the VWAP, comes right back down, tests the VWAP, and then it goes for this beautiful pop all the way up to 555. It looks like. But again, here it was very choppy at the open here, so I was not really paying close attention to it. But then here you can see the beautiful break off the VWAP, comes back down, retests, and then goes towards the high of the day and makes a new high. So that was nice. A DVM, this one here, a beautiful engulfing crack, guys. This is a great signal here for a reversal. So it drops down here. The next candle completely engulfs the previous candles. This can happen towards the long or short side, and you can see how beautiful this thing pops up all the way to 980. So again, this one was moving very fast. I mean, if you look at this candle alone, it's probably $1. So you really had to manage, actually $1.80. So you really had to manage your risk pretty tight on this type of trade. But if you were looking at this and was able to have some quick fingers, you can easily get a nice little scalp from here all the way up to these levels that we had. Roku was okay. I didn't watch it closely, so I'm not sure how the price action was. But you can see here it popped up above VWAP and then kind of sold off VWAP, and then it came back to these moving averages and sold back up. So again, you had some opportunities on here, but the entry was going to be the key on Roku, right? So you had to have a good entry. Finally does a false VWAP breakout here, which is nice and clean. This is a great trade here. Comes below VWAP, and that could have been a great short towards the bottom of the low of the day at that time. So giving you a good risk to reward on Roku. So Roku has been very active. We'll see what we get out of it today. I don't see a lot of volume right now, but it has been so active if you look at the daily chart over the last couple of days. ACB was also very choppy, guys, on the 5-minute. If you see this candle here, it's just every candle just kept engulfing the previous candle with some nasty wicks. So again, this has some potential. It's very active. It was one of the stocks yesterday out of the cannabis stocks that was actually moving with some good volume. But again, at the open, just seemed to be very choppy. You did get a pop up out of here, but then these type of trades are very difficult to take. Again, it's just I was looking at the price action very closely. Volume seemed to die down as we got 30 minutes into the open, and just didn't trade as well as we had KR, BHGE, and also TLRD traded very nice. All right, so with that said, let's get into some news. Norm, what do we have going on with the SPY today? Anything exciting in this Friday the 13th?
So SPY made all-time highs yesterday, and I think the Dow is just below, maybe 0.5% below all-time highs. So, you know, we've had weekly jobless claims came out yesterday, came out a little bit better than expected. Nothing really to write home about. But this morning, retail sales came in stronger than expected at 0.4% increase versus 0.2. So that with the Fed meeting next week, they're going to be looking at every little piece of data. The market's going to be trying to decide, you know, if they're going to get the interest rate cut or how much of an interest rate cut they're wanting. So my guess is if you look at the SPY, it's been on its way down since about 8 o'clock when that retail sales number came out. It's probably got people a little bit worried that they won't get as big of a cut as they're expecting next week. So that's about it. Not a whole lot else, frankly.
All right. Usually we'll go to our gappers list, but there's not much going on there. But we will find something today. We definitely will find something. Let's start over at NASDAQ Active, NASDAQ Gainers. Let's see what's going on there. And then we're going to look at some of our buddies, AMD, MU, Roku, see how those guys are doing today. So let's start with NASDAQ Active. So we have MTSL on here. Hold on, this thing is not linked up. Here we go. All right, MTSL, very active. 1.2 million shares traded so far. Let's see what's going on with this stock. It is a low flow stock, 2.75 million shares. So we're going to throw it down here for the low flow team. And just to be aware, this is a risky one. You got to be very careful. Let's look at some history. Let's see how this has traded before when it has gapped up or down. So gap down here, didn't do much. I don't see a lot of. Okay, here we go. We got some former days, previous days when it actually has ran up. So Yeah, I see some days where it actually ran up with some good volume. Seems to sell off after it gaps down more often than not, so we'll be careful with that. But today, this pre-market activity looks really, really clean. So we talk about these low flows, how, you know, sometimes you have a pre-market activity when you get the pop, it starts up here. It kind of finds a top and then just slowly just starts kind of just dwindling down, dwindling down, dwindling down, dwindling down. This is not a great pre-market activity for those kind of low flow stocks. This one here is quite the opposite. You do have a nice pop, a nice bounce and support of this moving average, and then breaking the high again. So this is the type of action that I like to see on these type of low flow stocks. Although I don't trade them often, I do pay attention to the price action, and when you get this type of flow here, you have a great opportunity to have a great trade in the morning with some good volume. It's up 106%. But again, guys, you have to be very, very careful taking a trade in this stock today. ATR on this 15 cents, so not too crazy, but this morning obviously a little bit higher than usual. RTTR, not much going on here, guys. This is really, really a penny stock. So again, anything under $1, anything under $5, you want to be careful with. Anything under $1 trading at 29 cents, just really the type of style that we trade just is not doesn't go well with those type of stocks. Here we have CPRX. This one, 523,000 shares traded. Pre-market activity not looking all that exciting. Looks pretty choppy and flat at the moment, although you have this 523,000 shares traded here. It doesn't look all that great. What is the float on this one? Is it a low float? Or CPRX is not a low float. It's 95 million shares float, but it is a lower price, and we have looked at it in the past. We do have some levels here, so let's throw it over here. Not the greatest pre-market action right now, but that could change. And it actually has a clean daily chart. If you look at it closely, this has a nice, beautiful daily chart. You got some levels on here. You got consolidation after a nice little run, and then another pop up here. Lost some momentum yesterday. Had a pretty bad day after having a nice little run over the last couple of days. So yeah, not bad. Pre-market activity not all that great right now. Pretty choppy, but that can change. Here we have FCSC. This one is horrible. Nothing going on here, guys. Look at this pre-market activity. This is probably one of the worst pre-market activity we have seen in a very long time. So something like this, you don't want to be trading. Apple looks good. Has a good pre-market activity with some good volume. 441,000 shares traded. I like the daily chart. I'm gonna remove some of these levels. We'll get some fresh ones. This looks good. Has a lot of volume. Norm, what's going on with Apple today? Is anything happening that we're not aware of?
Yeah, so Goldman Sachs came out and downgraded Apple and put a price target of, I think it was 165 on it. Let me just double check that. They lowered their price target from 187 to 165, and it was based on concerns over Apple TV and offering free service on that. So as Apple's, it's one of the ones I was going to mention to you that I've got my eye on. This recent push up on the daily, especially after the Apple event earlier this week.
Right.
I almost had them back to their all-time high in the low 230s from last fall. So we'll see if this does anything.
Yeah, we'll see if it holds. I was gonna say they did not like the phone with the 10 cameras. Is that what it was? I mean, so we'll see.
It's something like that, yeah.
So we'll keep Apple on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, looks very, very active. Has a beautiful pre-market activity. This is a great pre-market activity for Apple with some nice volume. So this is good. Volatility index a little bit. Actually pretty flat, not down, just a little bit here, but not much. Next we have NASDAQ ETF, again just slightly up, selling off with the NASDAQ as well. I'm sorry, with the SPY. AMD has just been, I'm just surprised how choppy AMD has been. It cannot break out of this range. It's just stuck in here. I mean, this stock used to trade so well, and since August, after this craziness here, it just seems to have lost just its rhythm or something. MU on the other hand, but you know what? Today, let's keep it on here since we do have a light gappers list on trade ideas. Let's just keep AMD on here. It does have 248,000 shares traded. So let's just see. Let's see how this develops later on in the morning. With that said, I'm going to skip over to MU since we're talking about AMD and see what that's doing. Now, this one here, this daily chart has been so nice. You can see a nice little pop here. So again, just continues to grind higher and higher. You do have some pullbacks and now we're kind of finding a little hesitant top over here. So we'll see what we can get out of MU. Traffic today on MU looks very, very light, guys, again, but this is typical. It does seem lighter than usual with 28,000 shares traded, but MU can have this type of volume and it can still run pretty well. Back to our top list. The last one on NASDAQ active is SDC. SDC is a recent IPO, I think. Is this the one Peter mentioned yesterday?
It IPO'd yesterday.
Gotcha. Yeah, Peter is our IPO guy. Every time something comes out, he alerts us in the chat room of a new IPO. But so this one here, guys, a new IPO. Not sure what to expect out of it. We don't have a lot of information on it. Looks like it sold off pretty nice yesterday, and today is kind of doing a little bounce here. But you could have a good continuation play out of this today, but not one that I'm gonna watch too closely today. We'll throw it down here just to take a look at it, but usually I like to trade stuff that has a little more history so we can see some moving averages, some levels that we can play off. Go ahead.
And it's not shortable. It's not shortable either. So unless you're going to get a big bounce out of it, there's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, agreed. Over NASDAQ Gainers, MTSL. Again, this one's the low flow of the day for sure. Look at this beautiful pre-market activity. It's just a beautiful bounce off this moving averages. Now cracking the high of the day, finding some resistance around 250, but it's consolidating nicely, man. This is if you are going to trade low flows, this is like what you want to be looking for. Let's go over to FCSC. We looked at already, so this one's not all that great. No, not a great pre-market activity. We'll skip that one. IFMK, just 5,000 shares traded, so not much going on right now. FRSX, same, very low volume. I'm looking up here, guys, only 60,000 shares traded. DRAD, horrible pre-market activity, no volume. AKTX, this one we have looked at in the past, has a little bit of volume, up 11%, but look at the difference between this pre-market activity and the great one we're getting out of MTSL. And then we have CPRX. We have this one. Yeah, we looked at this one. We have this one here, so that one, it looks good today. IDEX, this one's horrible, guys. No volume. And we have CLRB, also no volume, only 8,000 shares traded. And then we have Halo here with only 5,000 shares traded. Interesting daily chart here. It looks like we've been stuck within a range and kind of just popped out of it over to 1785, which was the last area of where they found some resistance. So this daily chart looks interesting. What's the float on this? I know it has no volume. I just want to check if there's any kind of potential on this stock today. 143 million shares float. Again, has an interesting daily chart, guys. A nice little pop here. It looks like this happened last night as well. So we can definitely look out for that in our scanners. I'm going to throw it on here just so I can check it later since we do have space today. With that said, I'm going to go back to the gapper scanners because we do have some stuff that's coming up here. PCG, we have definitely taken advantage of PCG. Is what?
It is just lighting up right now. There was just news release that they've reached a settlement on these fires from the last couple of years.
Wow, so this is nice. Yeah, this will definitely be a one to watch today, guys. If you don't remember this stock, this is the one from California, I believe. And yep. This had a huge drop. This stock was trading at $50, and then when they found there was possibly some faulty equipment in their lines, you can see how the drop came. This thing went from $50 all the way to $5. I mean, that's just insane. They recover a bit, hitting 25, finding some good resistance around 25, and then just right back down. So this is at its lowest point. This could be a good one to watch today, guys. If this news is significant and it can get the engines going towards the top. So looks like it wants to break out of this range that has been stuck in since September. So that's nice. Definitely one we want to watch today. NVS this morning, it is down 2.2. Volume starting to come in, 182,000 shares traded. We got to give it a little more time for it to get going. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great right now, but I do like the daily though. Daily looks like if it can lose some of these levels, it can be really nice to trade towards the short side. So I'm a little short bias on it, but we'll see what the open gives us on that. MO is here. What do we have on MO? 104,000 shares traded. We have looked at this one in the past. We have tons of levels. Let's remove some here. Looks like just a small little block trade. So I'm not seeing a lot of activity on this 104,000 shares traded, but we'll throw it on here and we'll come back to it as we get closer to that 915. Go ahead.
This one, well, this is Altria, which owns, it's Marlboro cigarettes and all that, but they also own 35% stake in Juul, and we're seeing vaping as the kind of next step in their business. And with the ban that the executive branch is trying to put in place on flavored vaping and such, I think I heard it's 85% of their product sales are from flavored, two particular flavors. I think it was menthol and mint. Those are going to be banned potentially. So for Juul, and might cause a real problem as far as that goes.
Yeah, no, if that's the percentage, yeah, that'll definitely cause some issues on MO today. So definitely, let's keep an eye on MO. Got some small volume, and it's a nicey stock. So not sure if this is typical of MO, but it looks like we might be getting something out of that with that type of news today. All right, guys. Norm, what do you like this morning? I know there's not a lot moving, but
yeah, it's not great. But I'm not. So MNK, which is one you and I traded earlier this week.
Yes.
And did recaps on. I know. So a few people are talking about this and short interest. So the short interest on MNK is. Hang on one second.
Wow.
67%, because this is a generic drug manufacturer out of the UK. So they're tied up with the opioid issue. They've been in litigation. There's more to come. And over the last few years, they've just been hammered. This was a $35-ish stock about a year ago, and it was as high as 75 or 80 if you go just a little bit further back than that. So it's really, really high short interest. But as somebody mentioned, short interest has probably changed. It could have changed drastically from that time. This thing was down below $2, and then there was a short squeeze over it over a few days. So short interest is reported by brokerages it's 2 times a month. It's on the 15th and the last day of the month. So then there's a delay in the exchange putting that data together and then releasing the data. So for instance, the short interest data that's available currently is from August 30th. So if you're seeing 67% in your data feed, it's almost half a month old. And if you see how much volume that thing is traded, it's traded well over the amount of total short shares. So literally it's traded enough in the last 3 days, that the entire short float could be gone.
Yeah, yep. That is a good point.
So
it'll be interesting to keep track of this and see how this is in a week or two. It'll be nice to see what the difference is going to be of that. I'm going to write this down here in my sticky pad and see how that turns out. Just for fun. All right, so MNK, yeah, I'll definitely watch this one, guys. We got some good volume, 465. So I'll definitely watch this one up 13.7. What else do you like this morning?
Yeah, not much, man.
That's it? Okay. All right, so
not much.
MNK will definitely watch. I do like the daily, though. A nice little pop breakthrough and then come back down, testing these levels of prior support here. So it could be a good one if it can break out of the high. All right, Brian is giving us Lulu. What is Lulu up to? Let's take a look at that, and then we'll get into some announcements, and then we'll come back and do some levels. So Lulu this morning, not much activity, which is okay, but we do have a nice daily on this. I mean, look at this breakout. Look at how it broke out of this prior support, that support which became resistance. You can see here, nice little breakout on this gap up. This was the news that they had. I think they had earnings around this time. They did very well. So Dolph found some support right where we did have some resistance before, not a coincidence, and then we'll right back up. So if we can break out of this and head higher or even lower, this could be a good one today on the daily. Looks very, very interesting. Not much volume right now, but Lulu, I think that's how it usually starts out. It's one of those stocks that doesn't really have great volume into the open. All right, guys, let's get into some announcements. Then we'll come back and take a look at this list a little bit closer. Norm, take it away.
All right. Yep, absolutely. So the Mike Belfiore interview, co-founder SMB Capital, is on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's awesome to watch. DAS #1 best trader competition. Their second one is going on right now. It runs through the end of the month. It's got a live leaderboard. You can see what people are trading. BBT is well represented in there. You can go to onebesttrader.com to check that out. Bearable Traders is honored to have been nominated for the Benzinga FinTech Awards in the People's Choice category under Best Financial Literacy Tool. If you like the content that we put out on a daily basis, weekly basis, we would appreciate your vote. It takes about 2 seconds, 2 clicks. Avi will put up the link and you can go directly there, and it will literally be done in 2 seconds. So thank you if you decide to vote for us. Meetups coming up. We've got several. The only one listed here for space is the New York City meetup on September 21st, Dr. Steenbarger. If we have any photographers or videographers in the group or, in the community, we would love to take advantage of your services, and we will take care of you in exchange. We just, we'd rather get somebody inside our community than outside to photograph the event next Saturday. Last week we put out the new Bearable Buzz. It's got a little bit of a new format. We're teaching Peter how to make chili. We'd love feedback from you, so if you can email me at norm@bearabletraders.com or just PM in the chat room, that would be great. And then if you're watching us on YouTube and you have not been in the chat where we trade live every day, you can use the promo code premarket24 just as it's showing on the screen. It's 1 week. It's at a discount. It does not auto-renew. It does not turn into any other membership. Just gives you a taste of the room to make see if you would like to be a part of it. Then also, if you like the content that we put out on YouTube, if you would subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified whenever we go live for the pre-market show, for trade reviews, whenever these great interviews that William and Andrew are putting out get posted. And then also, we're really proud to be a supporter of Traders for a Cause and their event coming up next month. It's in Las Vegas. It is a great conference with a bunch of well-known traders and some learning experience, some camaraderie, golf. There's a VIP party. If you are interested in going to that, you can use the promo code Bearable VIP and save $250 off a ticket.
All right, excellent. All right, so that is what we have. Let's get into this list, guys. Let's find out what's moving well here, what we can get some levels on. I do see it, the BITA coming up here in our gapper scanner, showing up in trade ideas. Looks like a nice little breakout from this daily here. Pre-market activity is just starting to get going and get some volume. Let's check the float on this. It's 62 million shares float. Definitely worth watching this morning. Norm, not sure if you had a chance to see what the news is going on with this one. It just popped up, so we'll throw it on here. And when we get to it, you can let us know if anything happening there. CPRT, guys, so let's look at this one. So right now, pre-market activity, it's looking a little choppy, not all that great, but it's got some great volume. 666,000 shares. It is up 9.8, almost 10%. Right now, giving some back after going above 7, hitting 715 as the pre-market high. So for some levels here, we're kind of stuck within the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Here's your high from two days ago. Your high. Here's your low. Here's your high from yesterday and low from yesterday, previous day close, and also got a nice moving average hitting the low of the pre-market. So I'm going to mark down low of the pre-market for now. We'll see if we're going to retest that and bounce from that. What's the deal with that? And then above the price action, we have this 7, which is the low from 2 days ago, and then your high of your pre-market sitting at 716. Then towards the bottom, guys, you have a nice area right here where you see 2 days kind of using as support, 650-ish, 646. You got 2 days bouncing off that, so that's a good area for a possible support. So I think that's plenty for CPRX. I don't want to get this too crowded here, but we do have a range we're kind of stuck in now, so hopefully I can break out of that with some good volume on this one. What is the let's check the float one more time on CPRX. All right, so your flow is 95 million shares flow, so that's good. And your average true range is actually right at 48. So if it was a little higher, 2 cents, it would have been up here in our trade ideas list as well. So definitely worth watching today. It's got some good volume. Spread is okay. Hopefully it becomes really nice at the open as well. So here we have Apple. Apple has an amazing pre-market activity, selling off some more. So obviously this news is causing some ruckus for Apple this morning. Towards the top, guys, we got plenty of levels. We don't need to add anymore. You have your high from yesterday, pre-market high right around that area, high from 2 days ago as well. You have your previous day close. So again, just plenty of resistance towards the top there. And with this not so great news this morning, the low of the pre-market seems to keep being created now. So I'm not going to mark it at the moment, but we do have an area that we can push for, which is the low of 2 days ago. Right in here, you got a moving average slightly below that price range. So let's see what it does in a couple of minutes. If it's going to find a pre-market low before it gets to this level here. But right now it's looking really, really weak in this pre-market activity, which is looking great. 724,000 shares traded on Apple. So you definitely got some news behind it. If we lose the low of 2 days ago, the next possible area that I see here on this daily, you obviously have one right on here, which is 214. I don't think Apple's going to drop that much, but again, anything is possible. And then below that 214, around 210-ish, 211-ish, you have another area right here as well. A few bounces from the most recent data we have on this daily chart. So again, that's a big drop. I don't think we'll lose that much, but it's looking pretty interesting right now. Let's see if we can get a bounce here. Looks like we might. So I'm just going to mark down 220 at 13 as a low of the pre-market. Let's see if we can bounce from there or what's the situation. So next we have AMD.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in real quick. So the BITA, before you get to AMD, I'm just going to say that's on a potential buyout from Tencent. So who knows if that'll be in play or not. And then one other thing, somebody's asking about outstanding or current float. So shares outstanding is the total number of shares there are in the company. The float is the number that are available to trade. So there's usually a certain amount of the shares that are tied up and aren't on the open market. So we look at the current float.
Right. Correct. Guys, great questions today and throughout the week as well. And again, if we talk about something that you're not that you don't know what it is, do not feel ashamed or weirded out to ask simple questions, or that might seem simple, but they're really not. When you're starting out, some of these questions could be very complex and difficult to understand. So that's what we're here for. So thank you for that. So on BITA, since we know this is a buyout, we're just going to mark our high of a pre-market right on here. Is it buyout, Norm, or rumors? I missed that part.
I think they received an offer, is what I had read.
Okay.
Buyout proposal.
Gotcha. So we'll put in a 1573 as our high of our pre-market, which coincides with some of the levels we have here from this nice little drop on this daily. And below that, this is a very clean level, guys, here, 1493. Look how that level is playing out. Support and resistance on this beautiful daily here. And then down here, you have another area of support as well, right over here around 1417. So plenty of levels here. Towards the top, if we can get above this 1573, we have another great area right here as well. Just want to zoom in to show you guys why we're selecting those. You have the drop here with a nice, beautiful bounce. Another test again, then becomes resistance. You can see once it becomes resistant, it gets tested several times, and it continues back on its downtrend. So we have some levels on here. We'll decide in a few minutes if we'll keep it. Right now, pre-market activity is looking like a buyout. You get the pop, and then you get just the flat action for a bit. But we'll see if it can break out of this 1573. It's going to become very interesting as we get closer to that 9:15, 9:30 time frame. Heading back to, okay, here's Apple is doing a little bounce of this 220, so we might have found the pre-market low. See if we can continue here and squeeze some people, but looks like the buyers are not having a great time right now. AMD is just, again, as I was mentioning earlier, it just seems to be stuck within this range, right? There's like two ranges on here. You got the 32, which is the main outer range, which is been struggling with. Towards the bottom, you got the 2950, and then within here, if you look at this line here, 31, it's also been an area where it's just struggling to get above and below. So I'm gonna skip this one today. I think AMD, once it breaks out of this range, it's gonna be fun to look at. I'm looking forward to breaking out of 32 and 29.50 and see what that brings for us. Right now, MU, I'm going to watch it. MU doesn't have great activity, but it's been very strong over the last couple of days. Seems to be getting toppy a little bit at 51, having a hard time continuing on this uptrend. It can be consolidating, but I am going to watch it because this has been, the daily has been really good, and the open has been really good on MU. If you've seen Andrew has been trading MU at least 3 or 4 times this week. and it has turned out pretty well. So we have a nice level here at 48.50, which was prior resistance, also now becoming support, so I'm going to mark that down. And then slightly right in here, this 49.32, I'm going to have that as well. Towards the top, I think you have two levels already. You have the two highs from the last two trading days, so I'm not going to add any more on there. We'll see what kind of activity we get out of MU. PCG, guys, very active this morning. 778,000 shares traded on news that they might be coming down to some settlements. So this is definitely going to be active today, given the fact this thing is probably at its not all-time low, because this thing has hit $5, but it's stuck within this consolidation range for the last several weeks. If we can break out of this, would be really nice. Clear support at 10, right on here, 10 clear support, previous day close. You have some high and lows right in here, plus a moving average. I just added the high of the pre-market at 1176. If we can break out of this, next possible target 1280, and another one right over here at 1409. So we got some very nice clean levels off this. We'll see how this plays out with some good volume. Hopefully it can continue to keep that volume steady. NVS, this one I like the daily, guys. It looks like it's ready to lose this great support that it has right on here, or at least get to it, 87.11. So I'm going to mark that down. And then towards the bottom, if we lose that, when's the last time? Okay, here we have one right over here at 86.28. So that looks good. Definitely going to keep track of this. Towards the top, guys, you have your low from 2 days ago, and then your low from yesterday right here, the next two levels. And then above that, previous day close, high of the pre-market, all in this area. You got some moving averages as well. But I like this one. If it can lose this low right here, 87.11, it could be a nice one towards the south side. MO is again, could be interesting. Not great volume right now, guys, but as Nora mentioned, they do have some news, and if we could lose this support that we had for the last couple of days, this previous day close, we're slightly under, but we still haven't lost it completely towards like this area here, 43.13. If we can lose that, that could be interesting. Let's see what's the last time they've been down here. So we have another drop over here back in the beginning of the year. A nice level here at 42.48, and that seems to be the 52-week week low there. So plenty of levels towards the bottom. We got two very good clean levels. Let's see what it's going to do today. Again, volume is not all there yet, but it's a nicey stock, and I'm assuming this thing is probably going to get going right after the open. And not going to give you a great pre-market activity at the moment. MNK has been really good to us this week, so I'm going to watch this one also. This one here is up 13.7, 500,000 shares traded. Again, had a great day 3 days ago, came back down, retested this support, and now it's popping up a bit, 13%. So however, pre-market is sitting right with this moving averages. I'm going to mark that down. That's 350. So we'll mark that there. Slightly above that, the next one is the high from 2 days ago at 4. See if we can find a level in here. Yeah, this is a good level right over here at around 391. Reason I like this level, you have support here. You also have a resistance, right? So on this big run here, this was the area where it stopped, lost some momentum, and it came right back down from there. So plenty of levels towards the top, guys. Towards the bottom, just want to have one more below the low from yesterday. So if we can get a good one here, I think this one will be a nice one, 244. I don't think it will run that low, but this is a very clean support level you have here from these 3 days. BITA, we have levels on. All right. Halo, this could be a possible, but no volume right now, so I'm just going to remove it. SDC, this is a recent IPO, so not much going on at the moment. It's going to be tough to find shares to short for that one. And MTSL is definitely the short, the low flow of the day. This thing is moving very nice. Let's see if it can break out of this 250. It's finding some good resistance here, but I do like that it came back down, testing another support, and right back up towards the high at the pre-market. So that's interesting. All right, let's make this list a little smaller, and then we have a little bit of time. We'll see what you guys have on your end. So CPRX, I'm going to watch. Apple on deck, losing this low of the pre-market, so that's going to be good today. I mean, it looks really good. MU, not much going on right now, but we know how MU could be. It can be very active. PCG, I like for a possible play off this news we're getting from their settlement. NVS also is looking good on the daily if we can lose some of these supports. MO, I'm on the fence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to remove MO for now. We do have our levels. If it hits our scanners, we're ready to go. I'm going to keep MNK because that one has been good to us. And
So you
BI.
can buy me more drinks next
There
week.
you go. I could buy you more drinks. Make sure you check out that recap I did on YouTube on that one. MNK, yeah, so this is good. And MTSL is the low flow of the day. Looks like we're about to pop this 250 here. All right, guys. So that is our watch list for today. We have a couple of minutes. Anything you guys like that we have not covered? So Patrick has a question. Why is MO negative 2.3 on the gappers list, but 0.23 on the chart to the far right? Let's look at it. MO. Let's bring it back. So MO, what are you seeing here? MO. Well, I'm sure it changed now, but you do have 2. I'm assuming you're talking about this 2.6 and then this here. That's a great question. This sometimes is slightly off. You know, it's not exact. This is more accurate data from Dash Trader Pro. Sometimes you'll see something here, it will show like -5, and then this one will be like -4.5. So that's okay. This could be slight seconds delay. I'm not sure why this is off like this now. But again, I will go with the Dash Trader Pro information. This is straight from their from the server. So this is what I will use. All right. All right, excellent, guys. All right, Brian is giving us NVDA. NVDA, see what we got going on here. Yeah, NVDA also is looking interesting as well, kind of like Apple, losing it a bit here. But definitely Apple is the one to watch today. Didn't mean to put that there. Okay. So, yeah, so NVIDIA also one that that could be exciting as well. We got some more coming up in our gappers list. ADVM. Let's take a look at that. AVDM. This was again a huge drop yesterday. Sold off pretty nice. It's got some activity, not the best pre-market action right now, but it does got some volume coming in on this one here. And MT, we know MT, guys, is on our gappers list, but that's usually a foreign, not usually, it is a foreign stock, and again, doesn't trade very well. Look at this daily activity here. So CPRX, Apple's losing that 220. MU, PCG, NVS. All right, let's see if NVS can get some volume here. Nice. MNK, also nice. All right, I think we have a decent watch list today for a Friday. This looks very good. FCSC, we're getting some tickers. We got a few minutes, guys, so if you have something you want us to look at, throw it out there. We'll take a look at it. FCSC, this one, I don't like the pre-market activity. You do have some volume, 519,000 shares traded. I'm not sure what the flow is on this one. Was it a low flow? FCSC. Yeah, it's a lower flow, guys. 975 here, 9.75, and also just look at this pre-market activity. It's very flat. You got some really good volume, but that's not creating a good pre-market activity. Unlike MTSL, this is the type of activity you want to see on this type of low floats. You can see a nice little wave here, right? It has a nice flow to it. It's what we want to see, hitting these moving averages, making new highs. With some good order flow right already in the pre-market. So this is great. But this one here is, again, just this pre-market activity you want to stay away from. Pretty flat, looks algo-like. So again, it also between pennies, right? So you got all this bids and all this asks just sitting here between these pennies. Again, not a great activity. ARDX. You got 87,000 here, down quite a bit. Pre-market activity not looking all that great. Can this get better at the open? It absolutely can, but we do have some really good ones already here that look a lot better. So if you like the way this one looks, or you see something that's interesting, you definitely throw it on your secondary list. You can watch it, but we do have some here with some really good volume. Look at this volume: 700, 800, 70, which is actually really good for MU. 900, 276, 532. So we got some really good volumes on this watch list here. MNK, yeah, it does look like that, but we know MNK actually trades very well. So in the pre-market activity right now, it's not looking all that great in this area here. But I gotta tell you, the day that we traded, go back and look at this date. It didn't have much activity neither. I remember when me and Norm were talking about it, we had it as a possible, and then I didn't have it on my main watch list. Something else was trading horrible. And guys, you could do this as well. If you have your main watch list and you have your secondary list, and something here is not getting the volume, you can flip-flop, take that one out, put the other one in, you're possible. And that's exactly what I did with MNK. I did not have that on my list, had it as a possible, didn't have a great pre-market activity, and turned out to be a beautiful trade. You can see this one on here, right? So based on that previous history, I'm going to use that today to see if we can get something out of it. We may not. So we'll see how it plays out. All right, guys, 9:15 Eastern time. Andrew's going to be coming on in a few minutes. We're going to be getting ready to start the open on this Friday. Take care, guys, on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to comment and like on this video, and have a great Friday. As you know, guys, it is Friday, so you want to trade well, trade discipline, go into the weekend not thinking about, man, I broke my rules, I didn't follow my strategies, I traded horrible. That's not how you want to start your weekend. So start your weekend knowing you were very disciplined and follow your rules. Red or green, doesn't matter as long as you were disciplined. Take care, guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to let you know when we come on each morning. Have a good one.